I'm Cherie
And I'm Chris.
of Tech+nomad, yeah.
And we're coming to you from a campground on a Sunday afternoon, which is one of our favorite times of the week.
I used to be a weekend camper before I went full-time. I'd go out to the campgrounds in my pop-up camper. I thought campgrounds were like this all the time, just full of activity.
They're packed full of people running around, lots of yelling and screaming and...
Oh, maybe not that bad.
Well, depends on the campground. Some campgrounds are very much party zones on the weekends, and some are just full. But then the weekdays come, and it's like peace and tranquility. That's one of the joys of being a full-timer, is the weekends end, and then you get the awesome tranquil weeks to enjoy a campground when it's half empty or mostly empty.
So it used to be that we'd leave on a Friday afternoon, get off work, scramble out to the campground, and you'd have 2 nights in the campground thinking that was awesome, and it was.
And everybody else is doing the same thing. Sometimes there'll actually be lines down the street to get in and register at campgrounds on a Friday.
And then we'd all repeat the process, pack on up, and leave on Sunday. Now as full-time RVers.
The last day ever we want to arrive is on a Friday, and our favorite day is Monday after all the weekenders have left sometimes.
But then if you can arrive and get a site on a Sunday, until Thursday evening, you pretty much are going to have a campground, at least yourself or where your neighbors are also people who identify as RVing as a lifestyle, i.e. they're at home.
Or they're on a very long-term trip.
And they're not just in party mode or weekend vacation mode. And
it is fabulous. It's really the weeks are amazing. And well, now how do you survive these weekends with all these
because
interlopers?
They're not interlopers, but campgrounds are made for people to come out and recreate. You can't get upset about it. I mean, you can, but it's pointless.
Yes.
And so what are some strategies? So on weekends, if we are in a campground and we're able to score a last-minute reservation, that might be when we get work done, we close the windows, we try to ignore what's around us. You can do what we did here, is we parked backwards into the site so that we had more privacy, so we're not having to see the campfires and see other people mingling about more than we're
and it's not that we're sticks in the mud. It's like, sometimes we try to really focus these weekend times this is when we're going to work, so that we can be more chill during the week.
And that's when we go out exploring and not have the crowds.
Right.
Sometimes we just meet our neighbors and we go and we get invited to their barbecues and picnics and to hang out with them, and that's really cool too, because again, being a stick in the mud, it's no fun for anybody. No. Sometimes though, campgrounds are not where we want to be on weekends. We just don't want to put up with it. We don't want to have to tough it up.
We don't want to have to fight for reservations in last-minute spots.
Too. So there are some alternatives that we'll use. Sometimes just overnighting in a retail lot like a Walmart or a Cracker Barrel or a rest stop that allows it is a lot more pleasant than a campground.
Can be, actually, on a crowded weekend when you're fighting for reservations and the place is packed and you're spending all your time backing and turning and trying to squeeze into a site for just 1 or 2 nights. No, I'd rather take a Walmart and then get the campground when it's wide open on Sunday night.
Also going off boondocking, dispersed camping on public lands. Just keep in mind, the locals usually know where the really good spots are, and that's where they head on the weekends too. So it may not be better than some public campgrounds.
Right.
Sometimes they are.
Harvest Hosts is a really great option. Oftentimes they can make weekends really fun, but it's not crowded.
Right, so Harvest Hosts is a program that has made arrangements with wineries, farms, and museums across the country that have parking for RVs, and with your membership you're allowed to call them and get an invitation to park with them. And sometimes we'll call it on like a midweek and just say, hey, you got availability over the weekend, can we stop by? And a lot of them are more than happy to have us for the weekend. And it's a great hideaway.
Yeah, and our experience with Harvest Hosts is they often have weekend activities going on, like live music or food trucks and stuff, but the place they stick the campers is way off yonder, so you get the benefits of kind of a quiet, peaceful, tranquil place and all sorts of fun activities.
Another thing, we love driveway surfing. We've done a video on that, and that's when we're staying in the driveways or private property of friends or blog readers or viewers like yourselves, and that's a great time. If we have those invitations, we'll kind of schedule our routing to stay with them over weekends or holidays, and that just, see, there's one leaving right now. It's Sunday, yay! And that's one way that we'll schedule, so we're not having to navigate the campgrounds. Elks Lodge or Moose Lodge, if you're members of those organizations, these are fraternal orders or other groups that are across the country. And if you're a member, some of them have RV parking, and that's another great option.
Yeah. So, it's one of our pro tips for being a full-timer. Avoid campgrounds on weekends if you can, and enjoy them during the week.
There you go.
Oh.